My life hasn't been what you probably think it has. We all have our struggles.
Have you ever been in love?
A long, long time ago. You?
So many times. Yeah, all the time.
Welcome to the future. Life is good, but it can be better. And why shouldn't it be? All you need is to want it. Think about finally having everything you always wanted.
I can save today, but you can save the world.
Steve.
Now, I take what I want in return. Everyone will see. The world needs you. You know what you need to do.
Nothing good is born from lies. And greatness is not what you think.
It's all art. That's just a trash can.
It's just a trash can. Yeah.
So, we're going to start with Steve. And first off, I'm just going to say this in case you're still here and you want to know a little bit more about the movie. The way to describe this movie, and they actually use this metaphor in the movie, now we're in the spoiler section now, just want to say that again, is the monkey's paw. If you've ever heard of the monkey's paw, basically, the monkey's paw grants you your most dire, deepest wish, but you have to lose something in order to get that. And normally the thing you lose is not something you want to have. Or you lose, or you trade something, or you get some punishment. Something happens. Now, more particularly, you lose something normally. And in this movie, it's a very similar thing. They find this rock, and we don't know much about the rock, but that's the thing. According to Wonder Woman, which I forgot, Diana, there you go, Diana, she says it was made by one of the gods, lowercase g. At least on days I'm being as humble as Drax. Get the reference? Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, even though I was talking about one earlier, but anyway, the god in this universe that made it, and think that's as close as you can get to a true villain, which is interesting because I think that can connect to another movie. I'm sure that can connect to another movie, and that's very interesting to get a little bit into the deeper depths of the gods in this universe. So it's very interesting in my opinion. It's not much in the movie. But, so for example, and I'm going to go through the wishes that were made. Only a couple. A lot of people make wishes in this movie. But I'm going to go through the three main wishes. The first one is Barbara. As I stated, she was a pathetic... She wasn't pathetic, but she felt pathetic. I should say it like that. I really thought that she was strong. But when the world puts you down, you make yourself feel like you're nothing. And I think everybody, especially in this past year, can attest to that in some form. And that's how she felt. You see people not talking to her. You see her drop something, and the only person to help pick her stuff up is Diana. I believe that's her name. Hopefully I'm not saying it wrong. But that's the only person to help her. That's it. And that's the kind of character she is and the kind of person she is. So she wishes to be more like Diana. To be strong. To be, be like Diana. And boy, does she not realize what she's getting into. Diana's wish, which she doesn't state, but you find out. And this is where the spoiler for the first movie comes into play. She wanted Steve back. Steve sacrificed himself at the end of the first movie to save basically the world. And she wishes him back. But it's very odd. He comes back through another guy. And it's very interesting to see. The guy, you see the guy at first. She doesn't know who he is. But then it does like this around shot and it turns into Steve. And all she can see is Steve. And that's her wish, to have Steve back. So that's why he's there. And Maxwell Lord, his wish, which is probably the strangest wish of them all, is to become the stone. Now, he doesn't literally become the stone, but anyone who's touching him can make a wish. And if they do, it's granted. And what he uses it for is he gets something in return. Oh, you wish for a Lamborghini, or you wish to be the most rich person in the world. Well, you give me something in return. You give me your authority, you give me your power, you give me your resources. You give me something that I can use, and I'll grant your deepest wish. And that right there is what the monkey paw does, in essence. So the stone is basically that. So now, I want to talk about what everyone is losing. And this is kind of a little bit of a weaker point in some aspects to the people. What is Diana losing? This is the most obvious one. She starts to lose her powers, her abilities. And this leads to one of the first times I bawled my eyes out in the movie. Not a lot of series take a character away from you, then give you another movie with that character, and then pull that character away again. Especially superhero films. They normally just pull them once. Although I have a feeling Marvel's going to do that to us again. Because there's rumors that Steve Rogers is coming back and Iron Man is coming back. So, for more movies. Sorry, I may have just spoiled some Marvel movies indirectly, even though this is DC. See, and that's another thing. Some people probably get angry at me for comparing Marvel and DC together. But unfortunately, there's not much I can do there. Endgame was one of the biggest movies of 2019. 2019. Yes, 2019. So, and the highest grossing movie of all time, through a little bit of cheating by bringing it back to theaters with a couple additional minutes at the end. But we're not going to worry about that. So it is important to compare it. But, Diana realizes, and there was a scene, someone made a comment of, it's kind of a random scene in the movie. It's a fight sequence where it has to be a rocket. A nuke does not make sense. It didn't explode enough. But Steve launches off a rocket. Not him on it. He just launches it. And Diana uses her whip to grab onto it and fly over to save some kids. And it's a bit of an important scene because you start to realize, something's going on. But she doesn't realize it. And she starts to realize it more and more as the sequences go on. And her grip isn't strong enough to stay attached to the whip. Or the lasso of truth. Sorry, the lasso of truth. Someone's going to tear me a new one if I don't call it the lasso of truth. Unless I'm saying it wrong. But she loses her grip and falls off. But someone was like, I don't remember the comment. I think it was on Twitter or somewhere. But the person was like, oh, why have her use the rocket to save some people? Why not just shoot it next to them and have them run off to the side? And I'm like, that is extremely dangerous, for one. A rocket is a rocket. You have no way of knowing where it's going to land. And it is kind of important to see her fall there. Again, a superhero shouldn't always be able to 100% do everything. They have to have their down moments. Otherwise, there's no character building. If you look at the original Iron Man or the original Iron Man 2, Captain America 2, less than Captain America 2, Captain America Civil War, Infinity War is a very big example of that. And I think that this one is stronger than some in that aspect, because not a lot of movies will do that. It's needed. It's needed for the character. It's needed to make the character better. In the long run, it will make the character more than what the character is if they're just 100% powerful. Like, I need to watch Captain Marvel, but I have a feeling Captain Marvel does not do that. Does not give the... I mean, there has to be some sort of, like, downtime for the hero, even if it's brief. They have to have something, because there always has to be a down. There's always has to be something that goes down. There just has to be when it comes to the story, it comes to the character. Anyway. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. And with Steve, he kind of sacrifices himself again, but through Diana, because Diana, there's two ways that this can be fixed. Civilizations have been destroyed by the stone before. And there's only two ways that you can fix it. One, revoke your wish, or two, destroy the stone. So their only choices are to destroy Maxwell Lord, or have everybody revoke their wish. Or I guess you could say have Max Lord revoke his wish, because if he were to revoke his wish of being the stone, I think everyone else's wishes would get revoked, because if he's no longer the stone, they can't be granted, if that makes sense. So, 1 second. Sorry, I was trying to make sure that the event couldn't be heard. So, Steve is kind of dying a second time. And that is something that really got me. And it hurt, because one time is enough, right? One time you have a character pulling away that you care about, or even the main character cares about, and you see her in distress. You see the person in distress. It can hurt. And I think they did a good job on it. I think they did a very good job on it. And then a little bit of a side note, she ends up finding the same person that he was, the face of the person that you see. She finds him later in the movie, toward the very, very end, and they're kind of seeming like they might become boyfriend and girlfriend then, which is kind of nice. A little bit of a resolve there. But, what is everyone losing? Well, she's losing Steve. Barbara, what is she losing? She's losing her kindness. Her kindness. It's kind of the bottom line. She was a very kind and sweet girl, and sweet to a lot of people. And she was good-hearted, and everything. And what she starts to lose is that. She starts to lose herself. And then you have Maxwell Lord. Well, his health is one. He starts to lose his health. Every time someone makes a wish, it hurts him. And he kind of tricks them. He's like, don't you wish that I would be successful? While holding their hands and say, yeah, I wish that. And then it comes true. Don't you wish this? Don't you wish that? And then towards the end of the movie, he even starts using people's wishes. He finds a way to mass gain wishes And he uses wishes to take people's health, take organs, take health, heal himself as other people are making wishes. And you make it seem, you say, oh, there's no villain. He sounds like a villain. Yeah. But there's a very key point which I'll get to in a moment. And I think people really overlook these kind of things. He has a son. And he really wants to be something for his son. That's why he's really doing this. It's a very small tidbit, but you see flashes of what would seem to be his father abusing him and his mother, yelling at them, possibly even beating on them. And right there is why I don't think he's a villain. He wanted to make his son's life better than his, and give him so much. There's a very, very sweet scene with the kid, but I'm not going to say everything, so you at least get to watch some of it. I mean, geez, you want me to spoil the entire movie here? This is a spoiler review. So, we're in the spoiler section now. But, he wanted what was best for his son, and also, he had nothing when he was a kid. Nothing. So to have all this power, I kind of can understand. Not that I would want that much power. It'd be like being the president. Yeah, I don't want to be the president. That seems too stressful. But if you have nothing, the ability to have everything would be something that you'd want. But he loses sight of what he was doing this for. He loses sight of his son. All he wants is more. He even says, like, a line is, the answer is always more. More wishes. More. And it is kind of just, he loses sight of what he really wanted. And I won't say exactly how he's defeated so that you can go into the movie. So at least you have some reason to watch it. But in the conclusion, he was just a I don't know if I should say misguided, but he took the wrong approach. He was an idiot. And I won't tell you which one of the options it was, whether they destroyed the stone, which actually I kind of have to, because I want to bring this up. He revoked his wish eventually. And my question is here, we never see the stone again after that point. After he makes his wish to become the stone, there's this golden ring left. So there's a couple of theories you can take from this. The stone might actually be destroyed, because when the stone became him, when he revoked his wish, the stone didn't rematerialize around that. Or maybe it did. Maybe after he revoked his wish, it rematerialized around that little golden ring, and someone else is going to find it and use it later down the line. So there's that possibility. But either way, moving on. The movie has a lot of themes, and with Cheetah / Barbara, she lost herself, just kind of like Maxwell Lord did. She was power hungry. Same thing as him. When you have nothing, having it all is amazing. You don't get pushed around. You don't get, people answer to you. You don't answer to them. And you ignore them. They don't ignore you. And I think she kind of overlooks the fact that Maxwell Lord got the stone because he was using her. She never really saw that. But that's 100% what he does, even to get the stone. Even after she's she's made her wish and starting to become more like Diana. At least in strength. And here is actually the first thing I want to mention about incongruities and whatnot. Hopefully I said that right. Is in the movie they don't really specify that Diana's losing her powers because of the stone and because of her wish. So what it seems is that Barbara's wish was not only making her like Diana, but removing Diana's powers. There were several times throughout the earlier/middleist section of the movie where I was like, oh, so Barbara stealing her powers? But it wasn't that. But you could really heavily misunderstand that. And that is partially an issue. They could have probably, I can't name anything, so that's why I don't want to get too into specifics, but they could have done something to avoid it that they should have. Because it really made it seem like Barbara was stealing her powers. And that was not exactly a good misinterpretation. Sorry, I'm leaning up against something I probably shouldn't lean up to because it makes noise. It's cardboard. So, yeah. But anyway. And the other thing... the other thing involves Cheetah. So, kind of bit of spoiler toward the end. So the rule is when someone makes a wish, you can't make another one. Now, we don't know, we never really got an answer to is if you revoke your wish, if you get another one. And in order for Maxwell Lord to get wishes for the entire movie, now maybe it's because he's becoming more powerful he could do this, but I don't fully understand. He was in a pretty bad shape. Although, he didn't actually give her the wish until he got more powerful, so maybe it's just because he was getting more powerful. But assuming that rule sticks, she made the wish before Maxwell Lord made his wish. So maybe because he became the stone, it's like a new stone, if you will, so you get another wish. Or it's not like that. And if it's not like that, then how did he grants Cheetah's or Barbara's wish to become, and I think the word was alpha, like an alpha species of some sort, and she became a cheetah. It's very confusing to how that makes sense along the lines of the rules that are stated, if that makes any sense. So that's the only other thing I can think of that didn't make sense to be in the movie. There's probably more if you really dive into it, and I'll be watching it again on HBO Max before it leaves January 24th, at least once. But yeah, so that is kind of what it is. Sorry. I'm just looking at something quickly. Oh, never mind. I was looking at an email. It was kind of important. Sorry. It turned out to be not important. But to me, it's just like they could have done some things to fix some things up in the movie. Like, again, that confusion and that rule stating they could have made it more vague, I guess, with the rules, so that would make more sense, or tried to make it obvious as to why that made sense. But if you're just watching this for enjoyment, you're not going to think about these things. And in the end, most of the time, that's what it is. The only reason I'm going more in depth to this one is because I feel like it has some good messages. And I think everyone should take their own accord from the movie, so I'm not going to go... I've hinted at the messages. It's very obvious what the messages are from me hinting. Hopefully, at least. But I don't really want to go too heavily into them because I want people to go into the movie, and if they don't see those messages, I don't want to force those messages. The movie needs to speak for itself. It needs to speak for itself for the people that watch it. But if you don't like it, say you don't like it. Say, I didn't like how things went down. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. And you can think scenes are stupid, but don't blow it out of proportions, because a lot of people tend to do that, especially if they're fans of the other stuff. And I'm sure I will do that at some point when it comes to movies, and I probably have already done it, but I'm going to try not to in the future, just because people worked hard on this. A lot of jobs and time went into this. So, you'll see what happens. It's a lot of effort. I don't want to hate on people's work. That's why I tend to only watch movies I like, if that makes sense, or I know I'll like in some capacity. Sometimes I just go on a long shot and I end up liking it, or not. But anyway, so Wonder Woman 1984. I think I've covered everything I really want to cover, but Maxwell Lord, again, for me, he was just kind of hurt, and he wanted more for his son, and he just went too far. And Barbara had nothing and gained everything, and she wanted to keep it. I don't think those are villains, and I think those are people. I think that those people, I think that could be any one of us, any singular person in the world who would want that. I mean, I'm sure you would. I'm sure there's a deep desire that you would want, right? Something you would want. So, but anyway, that's about going to wrap this up. Again, I give it a B+, but I really enjoy this movie. If you have a chance to watch it for a low price or for free on HBO Max, I recommend it. Again, I don't know when it's launching for other people. I don't know if it's on if other countries have HBO Max, so I can't say that. But in the US, it goes until January 24th. So we got 8 days from now. Literally, it's 12:26 right now, so basically 8 days from the time that I'm recording this. But I really did like the movie. Don't worry, we'll be getting into Paddington 2, hopefully here in the future soon, not too far away. And the third video, thank you video, I hope to put out soon-ish, hopefully, but we'll see. So I appreciate all of the people who stuck this long for watching. Thank you so much. I hope you liked this review. I want to do more. There's a lot of movies I want to talk about, and this one was one that I wanted to... I probably had more thoughts, but I tried to cover everything that I could think of. I tend to think out loud to myself a lot, and I'm sure I've gone through a bunch of stuff about the movie when I'm like sitting in bed at night or something. So it's just probably not everything I wanted to state in here, but that is going to do it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I hope you like this review. Hopefully, I can't really speak as a fan to this movie as well, I should mention. I'm a fan, but not like, oh my goodness, diehard fan, yes, kind of thing. But anyway, I think I've spoke long enough for 45 minutes. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.